My Ring of Honor Glory of Honor 9 Internet Pay-Per-View review, and this was a good pay-per-view outing from Ring of Honor. Now, was it as great as Death Before Dishonor, or is this going to be in the category one of the greatest pay-per-views or one of their greatest events ever? No, but nonetheless, it was a good pay-per-view outing from Ring of Honor, good show from Ring of Honor. You saw 4 good matches on here. In my opinion, 3 matches on here I actually gave, 4 stars, or, a little over 4 stars. And the Aries and Daniels match was good as well. And really, you only had one bad match on this pay-per-view that was, in the category of anything terrible, and that was the Grizzly, Redwood, and Ballz Mahoney versus the Embassy. That was really the only thing bad. Even the Briscoe singles outings, I would have preferred them to be in a tag team match with the All Night Express instead of them doing the, special challenge singles matches with the Briscoes versus the All Night Express. Nonetheless, that was even still pretty. Those matches were pretty good on here as well. And the Kings of Wrestling versus the World's Greatest Tag Team, which was obviously the match everyone was looking forward to. That match did not disappoint. That was a great tag match. Excellent match in the way the ending was booked. It looks like we're possibly going to be seeing another Kings of Wrestling versus the World's Greatest Tag Team match in the future in Ring of Honor. And it looks like we are going to see, maybe the World's Greatest Tag Team, Shelton, Benjamin, and Charlie Haas staying around in Ring of Honor, at least for a little bit. Obviously, most of us are expecting them to go to TNA at some point, but it'd be great to see them do at least a few shows with Ring of Honor, and I especially want to see them, have another match with the Kings of Wrestling, and especially have a match with the Briscoes. That's what I really want to see, is a World's Greatest Tag Team versus the Briscoes, or even throw the Briscoes in with Kings of Wrestling and World's Greatest Tag Team and have a 3-way. That would even be good as well. And obviously with this pay-per-view, you obviously knew with the main event world title match, it was going to be very predictable of who was going to win that match with Tyler Black and Roderick Strong, with Tyler Black's last appearance in Ring of Honor. Everyone knew Roderick Strong was going to win, but that match was still good as well. Now, they had a few technical difficulties within this match, where a few times within the show, the stream either froze or during 2 matches, which one time it was really bad, the other time it wasn't as bad. During one match, which was the chain match with Generico and Cabana versus Steen and Corino. During that match, about a minute or 2 of action you probably missed during that match with the stream going down. That was the only part of the show that was really, really bad. There's a few other times where it froze, but most of that time was during entrances or something, or not much was happening within the match, and it didn't happen too much. I would say about 4 or 5 times, the small freezes, and as far as actually, missing any part of action, you saw, missed about a minute or 2 probably with the chain match, like I said, and the Shawn Daivari versus Eddie Edwards match for the TV title. You missed a few seconds of that match as well. The stream did go down there, so Go Fight Live and Ring of Honor definitely need to fix that and make sure that doesn't happen that much when they do these internet pay-per-views. That's really the only gripe with this pay-per-view. I mean, the card for this pay-per-view and the matches on here, the undercard probably could have been booked better. The Briscoes probably should have been taken on the All Night Express in a tag team match instead of singles matches against them. The thing with the Embassy versus Grizzly, Redwood, and Ballz Mahoney could have dealt without. Eddie Edwards could have had a better opponent. The World's Greatest Tag Team versus Kings Wrestling, great match, and the World Title match was good as well. So good pay-per-view outing from Ring of Honor. Had a few flaws with the technical difficulties in the undercard. Could have been built stronger for this pay-per-view, but other than that, it was a good pay-per-view from Ring of Honor. The first matchup was the first of the singles special challenge matches with the Briscoes versus the All Night Express. Kenny King versus Jay Briscoe. This is a good way to start the pay-per-view off. Good back and forth action, really enjoyable match. You saw Rhett Titus come out there, get involved in this match. Kenny King picks up the victory in this match by defeating Jay Briscoe after hitting his finishing maneuver in a 3-star match. Good way to start the pay-per-view. Then after this, you saw All Night Express, Kenny King, and Rhett Titus beat down Jay Briscoe. Mark Briscoe came out there, made the save, and this led to the next match, which was Mark Briscoe versus Rhett Titus, the second singles match with the All Night Express versus the Briscoe brothers. And this match was actually surprisingly good. Now, it started off pretty slow, and it was kind of boring for the first minute or so, but really started to pick up in the middle of the match. Saw an insane dive in this match from Mark Briscoe. He did a twisting senton dive to the floor in this match. That was very good. And, in the ring, this is pretty good match. Rhett Titus, I think his character's good, and I think he, can play to the crowd well. But he's not the greatest in-ring performer, but he actually did pretty good in this match. He did a whole lot better than I was expecting, and he's kind of one of those guys I think does better as a singles competitor, whereas, obviously in the first match, they obviously pit the 2 best members of the 2 tag teams, Jay Briscoe and Kenny King. And Kenny King, in my eyes, he could be, a top main eventer in Ring of Honor in the future. That's as good as I think he is. Rhett Titus, he does better, in tag team competition and does better teaming up with Kenny King, and they make a good tag team as well. I think they play off each other very well. But Rhett Titus did pretty good in this match. It actually surprised me, like I said. Mark Briscoe, he picks up the victory after hitting the Burning Hammer in this match in a 2.5-star match. The next matchup was a match I could have completely dealt without. I just could not get into this match at all. This was Eric Stevens and Necro Butcher of the Embassy versus Grizzly, Redwood, and Ballz Mahoney. The crowd was into this match, which obviously, being in New York, one of the hotbeds of the original ECW, New York and Philadelphia. The crowd was obviously cheering for Ballz Mahoney, chanting ECW and stuff like that. So the crowd was into this match, but I just could not get into this match watching this on an internet pay-per-view. Just could not get into it at all. Back in 2007, especially 2008, Eric Stevens was looking like he was going to be one of the top guys in Ring of Honor's future, possibly a future Ring of Honor main eventer and world champion in Ring of Honor, but he's completely fell off since then. Necro Butcher, he's one of those guys, I don't really completely hate him, but I don't completely love him like some people. He's like one of those guys that he can go out there, and have some, barbaric and good hardcore match from time to time, but for the most part, especially in Ring of Honor, I would say in the last year or two, I really haven't cared for what he has done much either, or the Embassy in general, which, is a shame because I think Prince Nana is a great manager, and I think, that's one thing in wrestling we're really missing nowadays is managers. But the stuff with the Embassy is like some of the worst stuff in Ring of Honor. I would say this match right here, maybe I'm hating it more than certain people, and maybe I'm going overboard here, but I would actually put this in the equivalence of a WWE Divas match or a TNA Knockouts match, pretty much the piss break of the evening. I would give it maybe 1 1/4 stars, maybe 1.5 stars at best, and that's probably being a little generous. I just could not get into that match at all. Then the next matchup was Kevin Steen and Steve Corino versus El Generico and Colt Cabana in the chain match. They did a coin flip at the beginning of this match to determine who was going to be chained to who in this match. Obviously, you knew that route that was going to go. Cabana was chained to Corino, and Steen was chained to El Generico in this match. This is a very brutal match. These four have put on very good matches with each other throughout this year, and this Kevin Steen and El Generico feud has been very good. Now, they're kind of going the route where it's seeming like it's kind of dragged out a little too long. Like, what I would have done with this pay-per-view, if I was Ring of Honor, I would have had them just do a Fight Without Honor on this pay-per-view and had the feud end here, but Ring of Honor looks like what they want to do is probably drag this out for another 2-3 months, have this end at Final Battle, which in some ways will make sense. The feud will last exactly a year. It will, end exactly where it started. So, that makes sense, and they can build around that pretty good as well. So that's the only thing. They're kind of dragging out a little bit. This is kind of the same type of match. Other than being a street fight this time, it's a chain match. Pretty much all the same type of match back at Pick Your Poison back in April on Ring of Honor. That's kind of what this match was, kind of rehash of that match instead of a regular street fight. It was a chain match, but still good stuff here. Good bloodbath, good hardcore brawling in this match. Steen and Generico did some good stuff. Cabana and Corino did some good stuff during this match. Like I said, you missed about a minute or two of action due to the stream going down, some technical difficulties within this match. And then, in the other match after this, after intermission, which was the Shawn Daivari versus Eddie Edwards match, but that was the only problem with this match. You missed about a minute or two of the match, and they had Corino's son get involved in this match to try to cost Cabana and El Generico this match. Cabana then battles it back and fights back and ends up picking the victory up for him and El Generico in this match after Corino taps out of the Billy Goat's Curse in a 4-star match. Very good brawl, really good stuff in this match. El Generico did some insane stuff in here. One spot I really love, which was during one part of this match, you saw Corino on one side of the corner of the ring, and the trio Woe, not El Generico, but Colt Cabana got a chair put in front of him, and it looks like you're going to see El Generico from the other side of the ring hit the coast to him. But then Kevin Steen pulls him out. Then you see pulls him out, stops him from doing it, and then El Generico pretty much catches balance and does a flip, a springboard flip dive to not Steve Corino, but Kevin Steen on the floor. That was very good. And they did a table spot in this match where El Generico was at the top, and then there was a table on the floor, and then Kevin Steen pulled them through it. That was a pretty good spot in here. Some good hardcore stuff. You know, it was the type of match you'd expect here. It was built as what it was, a brutal hardcore match, and I think it delivered there. 4-star match, pretty enjoyable. The only thing I had a problem with the whole entire match was the minute or two we missed due to the stream going out in this match. And then post-match, they did a good job of building it up, even though it looks like they're going to be dragging out for another 2-3 months, which they possibly could do and make it good. And I think it's going to, pay off in the end when they do end it in probably a Fight Without Honor at Final Battle 2010. The previous year, exactly the same event where this whole entire feud began, where Kevin Steen turned on him. So that's going to be good seeing that. And they did a good job of continuing after this, where Kevin Steen attacked El Generico after this, pulled the mask off to him. El Generico went to the floor, got in the ring. Then Colt Cabana put a towel over him. They went to the back. And then you saw a chair in the middle of the ring. Steve Corino couldn't get up at all. And then Mr. Wrestling, Kevin Steen, he put the mask of El Generico on the chair, because he's got a T-shirt which has El Generico's decapitated head on the shirt with it on a chair and blood pouring down on it. And then he got a little Steve Corino's blood off Steve Corino's forehead, wiped it on his hands, and then wrote on the chair Mr. Wrestling. So it was a good way to further the feud with El Generico versus Steve Corino. It looks like we'll be seeing a Fight Without Honor with them in the future, which looks like they're out there to go, unless they want to go in some other gimmick match. But when they have these brutal, these blood feuds like this, those are the type of matches Ring of Honor ends with, which I think when that comes, the payoff for it's going to be well worth it, and it should be great when it happens. Then they went to intermission. During the intermission, they did a great interview with Jim Cornette and Davey Richards. Davey Richards was in Japan for this show. Him and Kenny Omega were in New Japan, so they couldn't make it to this show and be on this show, so they did an interview with Davey Richards. Very good interview. A lot of stuff I did not know at all about Davey Richards, so very informative interview with Davey Richards during intermission there. Then after intermission, Jim Cornette comes out there and announces that Davey Richards has re-signed with Ring of Honor, so this is great seeing him re-sign with Ring of Honor, because it's looking like, there's a lot of rumors going around that Davey Richards is going to retire and, go have a profession in firefighting later on this year, and he was going to do that and quit wrestling. So it's great to see he hasn't ended his wrestling career. He's re-signed to Ring of Honor, and at Final Battle 2010 in December, most likely what's going to be the next internet pay-per-view from Ring of Honor, Davey Richards is guaranteed a world title match against whoever at that point is the Ring of Honor champion. So that's great seeing him re-sign with Ring of Honor, and at that next internet pay-per-view or the next major show from Ring of Honor, Final Battle 2010, Davey Richards in the main event for the world title. So can't wait to see, at this point, not sure who's going to be the world heavyweight champion, because obviously at this show, Roderick Shawn won the championship, but is he actually going to keep the title for 3 months? I really do not see that happening. Maybe they can have Christopher Daniels win the title from Roderick Strong, and then have Davey Richards and Christopher Daniels at Final Battle, since they did do something at the Big Bang back in April. And they haven't, I don't think they've had a match with each other in Ring of Honor yet, due to, Davey Richards being in Japan and some scheduling conflicts, and they've just been holding it off for some reason or whatnot. So maybe they're just holding it off for Final Battle, and maybe they just do it then, which wouldn't I have no problem with that. Him and Christopher Daniels have a great match, so we'll just have to wait and see who Davey Richards takes on until then, because not sure, is Roderick Strong going to still be world champion? Is Christopher Daniels going to be it, or possibly the returning Homicide? Is he going to be world heavyweight champion? We'll just have to wait and see at that moment in time in December, so that's 3 months away, so we're not sure who's going to be champion by then. Then the next matchup was Shawn Daivari versus Eddie Edwards for the TV Championship. During this match, you saw the kind of similar thing that happened in the chain match, where the stream went dead for a few seconds. Now in this match, it only went dead for a few seconds, not too long. Didn't miss too much action in this match. But what you did see in this match, it wasn't a bad match. I would say it was at least watchable. Eddie Edwards picks the victory up and retains the TV Championship. And about a 2-star match. It was at least watchable. I would say it wasn't, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. It was just an average watchable match with Shawn Daivari versus Eddie Edwards. Then the next matchup was the Austin Aries versus Christopher Daniels, the Battle of the Best. This was a very good match right here with Aries and Daniels. This was their first match they've had against each other in about 4 years, and it did not disappoint at all. Very good back and forth action, a lot of good near falls, a lot of good false finishes. Just great back and forth action. Saw some good mat wrestling in this match. And the end of the match, you were sure that Austin Aries looked like he was going to pick up the victory. He hit the brain buster, and he hit the 450. Daniels kicks out. And then the match comes when Daniels and Austin Aries are battling at the top. Daniels ends up hitting the super angel swings from the top rope for the victory to pick up the win in this match against Austin Aries in a 3.5-star match. Very good match here. Did not disappoint. Was pretty much what I was expecting with these two. Very good match with them. With these two, good back and forth action. Really enjoyed it. And it looks like, they're building up Daniels pretty strong, so could go the route. Maybe they're building Daniels up to be the next Ring of Honor champion or a future Ring of Honor champion, which I think he deserves because, even though throughout the years he's kind of been on and off with Ring of Honor, he's been one of the founding fathers of Ring of Honor that I think throughout the years when he has been in Ring of Honor, he's been one of those guys that at some point in time he should have been Ring of Honor champion. He hasn't got it yet, so he's going to be kind of like Roderick, and at some point if he does become Ring of Honor champion, he's gonna definitely deserve it, and it's gonna be long overdue for him to become Ring of Honor champion. I'm hoping they actually do that. I won't have no problem with Daniels as Ring of Honor champion, especially if they go the route of a Daniels versus Davey Richards match at Final Battle, which would be probably an incredible match if they do that. But we'll just have to wait and see what they do there. Then the next matchup was the Kings of Wrestling versus the World's Greatest Tag Team, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, and the Dream Tag Team match right here. This is non-title, obviously. And this is a great tag match. It was great to see Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas outside WWE without the WWE handcuffs. And they performed, great in this match. It's great to see them perform to their fullest abilities. Great tag match here. A lot of good back and forth action, a lot of good mat wrestling. Charlie Haas did some good stuff in here. Shelton Benjamin did great stuff. Just a excellent tag match, and the end of this match made perfect sense. The end of the match, the Kings of Wrestling win in the cheap fashion where Chris Hero uses a loaded elbow pad for the victory for him and Claudio Castagnoli pick up the victory with Kings of Wrestling winning this match. It was a non-title match, but they win this match, so it makes sense right there. Then at the end of the match, they have a little scuffle. Then the tag belts are still inside the ring, and then Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin grab the tag titles, look at them, hold them up. Both of them get on opposite sides of the ring on the middle turnbuckle, get up and pretty much look like, these are going to be our tag team championships. So it looks like we're going to be seeing another Kings of Wrestling versus the World's Greatest Tag Team match. Next time it will be for the tag team championships. Not sure when that's going to happen. Is Ring of Honor just going to do it on one of their DVD tapings, or are they going to wait all the way till Final Battle in December and wait till that show, or just do a match, maybe have them have a match, maybe end in a draw at one of their DVD tapings in October or November, then have that lead to a tag team title match at Final Battle. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's looking like we're going to be seeing Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin in Ring of Honor in another match, which is going to be good to see. Obviously, I'm sure they're going to be going to TNA at some point in the future, but hopefully they stay in Ring of Honor for at least a little bit where we see another match with them against the Kings of Wrestling, and especially I want to see them have a match with the Briscoes. Just as long as I see another match with Kings of Wrestling and then a match with the Briscoes, if they just do that and stay for those two matches, that'd be, I'll be okay with that. Hopefully they at least stay and perform a few events for Ring of Honor, which I'm hoping they do that. Then the main event, which the tag team match, I'll give 4 1/4 stars, definitely match of the night. Then the main event was for the Ring of Honor Championship. This was Tyler Black versus Roderick. This is obviously Tyler Black's last night. Obviously, everyone knew going into this match, it was very predictable who was going to go over in this match, that Roderick Strong was going to become champion. Some people thought maybe they could have went the route of, doing the rehash of CM Punk in 2005 in the Summer of Punk and have Tyler Black retain the title and then do the stuff CM Punk did in 2005. But, I don't think he could have pulled that off even 1% or even a little bit as good as CM Punk did back in 2005. And Roderick Strong is well deserving of being Ring of Honor champion. He's busted his ass through the history of Ring of Honor the last several years, so he's well overdue, and he's definitely deserving of being Ring of Honor champion. You're not going to see a long title reign from him, but this match you saw some good stuff. They booked in a way where it looked like either side was going to win. The ending was kind of anticlimactic and did come out of nowhere, but nonetheless a good match from them. A good, next to the Kings Wrestling versus Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. This is the second best match of the evening. I give it 4 stars. Even with the predictable ending of Roderick Strong winning the title, everyone knew it was going to go that route. I would say they still had a hell of a wrestling match. It wasn't as good as their other outings they've had with each other, but still a good match with Roderick Strong and Tyler Black. And then the end of the match, after the match with Roderick Strong winning the title, Tyler Black is in the ring. The crowd's chanting, "Thank you, Tyler." Roderick Strong, tries to, put his hand out for Tyler Black, see if he shakes his hand. Tyler Black refuses, flips him off, then he flips off the crowd, then leaves. So I think that's the perfect way to write off him. Then after this, lights go out. The commentators are saying this is technical difficulties. Obviously, most people knew what this was, which was the return of Homicide back in Ring of Honor. Great to see him back in Ring of Honor, and pay-per-view ends with Homicide and Roderick Strong having a stare down. And the pay-per-view, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Definitely well worth, the $15. Definitely worth going out your way to purchase this pay-per-view. It's going to be up on Go Fight Live. If you weren't able to see it live and you want to see it, and you're hearing a lot of people praise it, or you just want to check it out for the Kings of Wrestling versus Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas match, which was the match of the night, in my opinion. I think everyone's going to be saying that. That was an incredible tag team match, and well worth the $15 alone just for that match. You can go order on Go Fight Live. Go Fight Live puts all their pay-per-views up on their websites after, about 24 to 48 hours after every single event, and you can watch it as many times as you want, and you can watch it as many times as you want, whenever you want, and watch it on demand on there, like I said, whenever you want. So that's the best thing about there. They need to, make sure they fix all these technical difficulties, and it doesn't happen that much, but the few times it happened on here, it wasn't too bad where it completely killed the pay-per-view. It really, for the most part, only affected 2 matches, and one of those matches that affected, I don't think many people cared that it took out a few seconds of Shawn, Daivari, and Eddie Edwards, and the only match that I think it really affected, which did suck that it had to happen during the chain match with Steen and Corino versus Cabana and Generico. But other than that, it wasn't that bad. The other times it happened, was just, a few times it froze for a second or two, or, it happened during entrances, and it didn't really happen during, that much other than, not that much action you missed other than those 2 main times it happened. So they need to fix that, but even with those technical difficulties, that pay-per-view was good from Ring of Honor. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Definitely well worth the $15. And that's it for my Ring of Honor Glory by Honor 9 Internet pay-per-view review. Peace.